Good evening, I'm Annie Thompson reporting to you from New York for the U.S. Crime Line. Tonight, we begin in Florida with the troubling disappearance of a young police cadet named Kelly Rothell. She was vibrant, athletic, full of life, and just weeks away from graduating the police academy. But everything changed when she suddenly vanished. Kelly was known for her infectious laughter and her ability to find the good in everyone. She moved to Indian Rocks Beach on Florida's Gulf Coast, seeking a new adventure, and life seemed promising. She met a man named David Perry during a vacation, charming, friendly, and seemingly the perfect partner. Their relationship moved quickly. David soon moved into Kelly's condo. At first, everyone thought he was a good match. Kelly's sister Lauren recalls meeting him and being impressed by his friendliness. But as time passed, his behavior became controlling. David was obsessive about cleanliness, vacuuming multiple times a day, and enforcing strict rules around the home. He isolated Kelly from her friends and family, even shutting down her social media accounts and reading her emails. Despite this, Kelly was determined to pursue her dream of becoming a police officer. She enrolled in the police academy, motivated and admired by her classmates. However, her relationship with David deteriorated. She became a different person, worried, anxious, and fearful. In the weeks leading up to her disappearance, Kelly made the decision to leave David. On a cool March evening, Kelly went to her best friend Donna's house for a girls' night. But David's presence loomed large. He stalked them, following Kelly and Donna through traffic and showing up uninvited. Donna was terrified and urged Kelly not to face David alone, but Kelly insisted she could handle it. That night, after David showed up at Donna's house, Kelly confided her fears. David had threatened her, saying if she left him, he would throw her body into the Gulf and she would never be found. The next day, Kelly planned to move out and start fresh, but she never made it. Hours after they parted ways, Donna received unusual texts from Kelly, messages that didn't sound like her. Concern grew when Kelly failed to show up for plans, and a welfare check was requested at her condo. When officers entered, they found the place recently cleaned, with no signs of struggle or blood. Neighbors reported hearing loud banging and vacuuming noises that night, consistent with David's obsessive cleaning habits. David Perry was nowhere to be found. When contacted, he denied knowledge of Kelly's whereabouts and refused to cooperate with authorities. Within hours, Kelly's car was found abandoned 2 miles from her home. Her study materials were discovered in a nearby dumpster. Police believe Kelly was murdered, and David Perry is the prime suspect. Yet, despite strong suspicion, there is insufficient evidence to charge him with the crime. David returned to his hometown in New York, seemingly trying to start over. He even married and took his wife's last name. But his past caught up with him. Investigations revealed David had fraudulently filed workers' compensation claims related to injuries he never sustained while working as a corrections officer. He was arrested and convicted on charges of grand larceny and insurance fraud. While in jail, David was involved in a violent altercation with another inmate, reflecting a quick temper and aggressive nature. Although he served time for these crimes, he remains free on parole and has never been charged in connection with Kelly's disappearance. Kelly's family and friends continue to search for answers and justice. They remember her warmth, her laughter, and the bright future stolen from her. Detectives urge anyone with information to come forward to help bring closure to this heartbreaking case. Meanwhile, in Michigan, another story unfolds. One of a judge who took extraordinary measures to protect a victim of stalking. Judge John McBain, known for his no-nonsense approach, faced a defendant named Jacob Larson, accused of repeatedly violating a restraining order against a former classmate. Larson's harassment caused genuine fear for the woman involved. Despite multiple court orders to stay away, Larson continued to show up at her workplace and send threatening messages. When Larson appeared before Judge McBain again, tensions escalated quickly. Larson accused the judge and the victim of being buddy-buddy, an unfounded claim that tested the judge's patience. When Larson's disrespect continued, Judge McBain sentenced him to 93 days in county jail. But the situation took a dramatic turn when Larson became aggressive in the courtroom. For the first time in his career, Judge McBain left the bench and physically intervened to protect the victim. He wrestled Larson to the floor and called for a court officer to restrain him. The judge's swift actions prevented harm to both the victim and court personnel. Larson's behavior continued to be a problem, and he faced additional charges for aggravated stalking after violating the restraining order again. Judge McBain pledged to remain involved, even as the case moves to a different courtroom, showing his commitment to justice and victim safety. Back in Utah, a tragic story emerges involving a synthetic opioid known on the streets as Pink or Pinky. This drug, believed to be stronger than heroin, has caused multiple deaths, including 2 teenagers, 13-year-old Grant Siver and his best friend Ryan Ainsworth. Authorities say Pink is extremely potent. Just a few grains can cause a fatal overdose. It is sold cheaply and easily accessible online, making it particularly dangerous for young people. The drug produces euphoria and pain relief, but also severe respiratory depression, leading to coma and death. A 15-year-old has been charged in connection with distributing the drug, though police suspect there may be others involved. Law enforcement is working to add Pink to the list of controlled substances, but manufacturers often tweak its chemical formula to evade laws. Medical professionals recommend having naloxone, an antidote that can reverse opioid overdoses, readily available. Communities are urged to stay vigilant to prevent further tragedies linked to this deadly synthetic drug. Finally, we turn to Arizona, where the mysterious disappearance of a mother named Cookie Jacobson continues to haunt her family and investigators. Cookie vanished from her home in Tempe, leaving behind unanswered questions and growing suspicion. Her family, including her husband Bill and children Aaron and Laura, mounted an extensive search. But police noticed unusual behavior, particularly from Aaron, who seemed reluctant to help. A tip from a stranger who overheard Aaron expressing violent intentions toward his mother raised alarms. Polygraph tests were administered. Bill passed. Laura's results were inconclusive, but Aaron failed miserably. Under questioning, Aaron admitted to finding his mother dead in her bedroom and enlisting his sister's help to wrap the body and dispose of it in a trash can. DNA evidence confirmed the presence of Cookie's blood in trash cans near the home. However, her body has never been recovered. Police believe it was taken to a landfill many miles away, where crews sifted through thousands of tons of waste searching for remains, without success. Despite the confessions and evidence, prosecutors released Aaron and Laura, citing the absence of a body as a legal hurdle for pressing charges. Now adults, the siblings live under a cloud of suspicion, while their father refuses to discuss the case. This unresolved case continues to weigh heavily on the family and the community. Authorities remain hopeful that the truth will eventually come to light and that justice will be served for Cookie Jacobson. These stories share a common thread, a search for justice, truth, and closure amidst tragedy and loss. From missing persons to courtroom confrontations, from synthetic drugs to family mysteries, the U.S. Crime Line is committed to bringing you the latest updates and shedding light on these complex cases. If you have any information about the disappearance of Kelly Rothell or any of the other cases we've covered tonight, please contact the appropriate law enforcement agencies. Together, we can help bring answers to those who need them most. Thank you for joining me, Annie Thompson, on the U.S. Crime Line. Stay safe and stay vigilant.